Welcome back. All right, so we are now 2 Saturdays away. So after this week, we got 2 more Saturdays of a lot of hockey during the day, and then we get to playoffs. Playoffs will be that following Saturday. So kind of exciting. We're getting down to it. 12 games to talk about if you're looking for reviews of any of the first 3 games played. Already on the channel, already got that done. All right, we're going to start things off looking at the Rangers and the Coyotes. And notice the craziness of the scoring for the first 2 games. Oh, it balanced out. I ran out of the Tony the Tiger Magnets tonight. So, Quick versus Vejmelka in this one. The shots are 4-2 Coyotes, 6 minutes in. The Rangers had 6 minutes, 6.5 minutes in. So they came out to play and they were physical. Lots of Let's Go Rangers chants. Feels like it's home ice advantage sometimes for the visiting team in Arizona. Mika fires one wide on a rush. That would be Zibanejad, of course. It's easier to write Mika than Zibanejad. Coyotes press at the half. Fox has a shot that's held as the Rangers press. Jones nearly scores. Roslovic nearly gets one after. Things get pushed and hold by Vejmelka, and then Lafreniere, who had himself quite the game tonight, scores from Panarin and Lindgren at 14-15. We get a power play for the Coyotes. That's killed off. Kakko's denied in the closing seconds. It's 1-0 Rangers after 1. Second period's where it gets crazy because 7 other games got started. And then we get to the third period of this. There's another game that got started. It's 10 games, so I did my best. So there's an early press by the Rangers in the second, and at 1:59, Lindgren scores. So he's back in the lineup. He gets a goal. Fox and Lafreniere with the assist there. Shots are 2-0 Rangers, 3.5 minutes in. Lindgren has a shot that's held as the Rangers press. No sustained pressure from the Coyotes, but they would end up scoring. At 6:27, it's Michelli, who continues to add to his career high. I think that's his 14th. McBain and Doan with the assist there. So Josh Doan on the board yet again. He's on a 3-game point streak to start his career. But at 6:45, it's Lafreniere that answers. Trocheck and Panarin with the assists. At 11:06, Keller gets that one back. Nick Schmaltz with the assist as Keller roofs one on a net drive. Things get pushed in a hole by Quick. The Rangers press. They're kept to the outside. Kreider gets number 300, but there's a goalie interference challenge. And they decide, yep, goalie interference. And Kreider was just like, take it. And I could almost hear him saying himself, I'll just get it again later. So Bjugstad would tie the game from Schmaltz at 19:18, so it's a 3-3 tie after the first. Second period, the Coyotes press at 2 minutes. Doan's denied from the doorstep, so again, Josh Doan all around it. Teams exchange rushes, and then Kreider would score at 5:45. There's 300. Roslovic and Lindgren with the assists. And then at 7:16, Zach Jones scores from Lafreniere and Panarin, so there's Lafreniere with another helper. We get a power play for the Coyotes. They're looking to answer. Instead, Barclay Goodrow scores at 9:33, and then the Rangers finish the kill. So now they're up by 3. We get a Coyotes power play, and they score on it. It's Lawson Krause with his 21st. Cooley and Bjugstad with the assists at 12:21. And then the Coyotes make it a little closer as Cooley scores from Valimaki and Michelli at 14:26. So we have a 6-5 game. They pull the goalie. Panarin scores from Kakko into the empty net at 17:35. They pull the goalie again. Lafreniere gets the hat-trick goal into the empty net from Trocheck and Fox at 19:45. The Rangers win 8-5. They go to 50, 20-4. They're the first team in the NHL to 50 wins. With the loss, the Coyotes 31, 38-5. Shots on net, 12-11 Rangers in the first, 11-8 Arizona in the second, 12-10 for the Rangers in the third. Final shots are 32 apiece. Power plays, the Rangers 0 for 0. Arizona 1 for 3. The hits 30-18 for the Rangers. Jonathan Quick saves 27 out of 32. Vejmelka saves 24 out of 30. All right, moving along. Nashville and Colorado. So the Avalanche have clinched themselves a playoff spot. Let us discuss how they get there. It's Lankinen versus Georgiev. The shots are 3-1 Nashville 3 minutes in, and they would score first. So much like in Arizona, they get on the board. Cole Smith gets this one, his first one in more than a month. Nyquist and McCarron with the assists at 3:41. And that was buried with Makar limping after blocking a shot. Preds look for another. Avalanche, though, they press at 5 minutes, and they would score. Drouin tips one in close. McKinnon and Rantanen with the assist. So at 5 minutes and 24 seconds, we're tied at 1. Drouin's then denied as the Avs press for the lead. We get a power play for Nashville. That becomes a minute and 9 seconds of 5-on-3, which then turns into 43 seconds of 4-on-3 as Nashville takes a penalty. It's a parade to the box. Everything gets killed off. And then at 13:02, when we're back to 5-on-5, Jankowski scores from Novak. He roofs that one in close. Jankowski's been really hot lately. And then Fabro scores at 13:43 from Zucker and Sherwood. So it's 3-1 for Nashville. However, this is the Avs. So there's a power play for Colorado and they score on it. Middlestad scores from McKinnon and Makar at 16:11. There was there was a review for goalie interference, but it does count. So they wanted to see whether or not Rantanen, I think it was Rantanen, was guilty of goalie interference. They decided nope, puck was going in. So after the first period, it's 3-2 for Nashville. Second period, 57 seconds in, Nyquist ends the night for Georgiev. Stastny and Forsberg with the assists. Georgiev, I believe, flicked the puck into the crowd, and so he got an unsportsmanlike conduct for that. He may have fired it into the crowd. I didn't see exactly what happened on that, but at any rate, Annunen was in. It is a 4-2 lead in favor of Nashville. Preds get a power play that then is killed off by the Avs, as I said, for that unsportsmanlike conduct. McDonough with a hit. Is it 5 minutes? Yep, McDonough gets 5 minutes. So Lehkonen scores during that 5-minute power play. Makar and Drouin with the assist at 5:43. He goes short side on a one-timer. Nashville does kill the rest of the major, however. Lehkonen can't bury one in close. We get a power play for Nashville. That's killed off. With 3:16 left, the Avs go to the power play, and they score on it. It's Makar from Rantanen and Parisi at 18:25, and then at 19:31, Yakov Trenin scores. So, yeah, the Avs outscore Nashville 3-1 in that second period and emerge with a lead going into the third. In the third, Woods denied. He was in alone there, gets denied by the goalie, but then McKinnon puts one into an empty net, well, open net. Manson and Taves with the assists at 3:38. So, yeah, it was just a case of goalie on one side of the net, McKinnon's on the other. That's where the puck is, and he puts the puck in. We get a power play for Colorado. That's killed off. Yossi's absolutely robbed. Annunen was very good in relief. He holds on. Goalie pull happens with 4 minutes left, and at 16 minutes and 10 seconds, McKinnon hits the empty net from Rantanen. With 1:54 left, the Preds get a power play. They are unable to generate a goal on that. Your final score is 7-4. So that's a lot of goals against Nashville in 2 games. Colorado 47-21-6 with the win. The Nashville Predators 43-27-4. And after an 18-game point streak, they haven't looked good the last 2 games. Shots on net 16-12 for Colorado in the first, 14-12 Nashville in the second, 14-9 Colorado in the third. Final shots 42-35 Colorado. Power plays Nashville 0 for 5, Colorado 3 for 6. Hits 24-22 Colorado. Lankinen saves 35 out of 31. Georgiev saves 9 out of 13, and Annunen saved all 22 in relief. So good night for him. All right, next up. And this is where the notes get a little bit more sparse because there was just so many games going on. So Toronto and Buffalo. Tony the Tiger Magnets here. It's Samsonov versus Luukkonen. Early jump for Buffalo. The shots are 1 apiece at 3 minutes. At 4:58, you would think this was in Toronto. Tavares scores from Nylander and Timmins, and again, the crowd reaction be like, yeah, so it must be in Toronto. Nope, it's in Buffalo. We get a power play for the Sabres. That's killed off. There's a delay game call. The Sabres with a power play. That's killed off too. Remember last year when they wore the goat head, they had a really good record? This year, that's not been the case. Third straight penalty for Dewar ends up putting Buffalo on the power play again. That's killed off as well. McMahon has a slot shot. That's held with 2:49 left. The Leafs get a power play. That leads to a shorthanded rush chance by Benson, which was held. That power play is killed off. It's 1-0 Toronto after 1. In the second period at 2:34, Robertson buries one on a rush. Matthew Nyes with the assist there. Thompson then had a net feed. That was picked off. There's a near miss for Matthews. Bertuzzi's denied after that. We get a power play for Toronto. That's killed off. The Sabres get a power play. That's killed off as well. And the Sabres power play tonight just could not generate anything. They get another power play in that second period, and the Leafs killed that one off as well. The Leafs press with 2 minutes left, but yeah, they're up 2-0 after 2. No reason to think they're in any danger going into the third. Teams exchange rushes early in the third. Matthews has a wrist shot. That's held. The Leafs press at 5 minutes. Both goalies good in this one. Power play for Buffalo, but that's killed off. Leafs get a power play. That's killed off as well. Shots are 10-5 for Buffalo with 9.5 minutes left. The Sabres press with 6.5 minutes left. And then Matthews buries a loose puck, which again, really made the fans quite happy considering he wasn't at home. Timmins with the assist at 14:23. That is the 60th goal of the season for Matthews. Now the question remains is, can he hit 70? I don't think he will, but he's going to get more than 60. He's already at 60. 3:47 left. The Sabres with a power play, so it's 6-on-4. It ends up being killed off. The Sabres press after it's done. Things get punchy with 55 seconds left. The Leafs come out of that with a power play. and they win this one 3-0. They go to 42-22-9 with the win. Buffalo 35-35-5 with the loss. Shots on net 10-8 Buffalo in the first, 8-6 Buffalo in the second, 16-8 Buffalo in the third. They outshoot Toronto 34-22. Power plays 0 for 4 for Toronto, 0 for 6 for Buffalo. The hits 41-25 Toronto. Samsonov saves all 34 shots for the shutout, thus the Tony the Tiger magnet. Luukkonen 19 saves on 22 shots. Next up, Pittsburgh and Columbus. Nedeljkovic versus Merzlikins. So no shots 3 minutes into this. It was a quiet game, and good, because this was the one I opted not to pay nearly as much attention to as the others, because neither of these teams are going to make the playoffs. Columbus was blocking Penguins' chances a lot early. We get a power play for the Penguins. During that, Olivier scores. Gets a shorthanded goal from Sillinger at 7:47. We end up with a 4-on-4 shortly thereafter. Then Columbus gets a power play. That was killed. Columbus goes back to the power play. That's killed off as well. The shots were 10-4 for Columbus with 6 minutes left. Pittsburgh had some chances before the period's out, but it's 1-0 Columbus after one. Second period, the shots are 5-1 Pittsburgh, 4.5 minutes in. Columbus presses at 7 minutes. Gaudreau with a near miss on a rush. Columbus presses with 7 minutes left, but Pittsburgh opens the scoring. O'Connor on a cross-ice pass buries one. Rust and Pettersson with the assists at 13:29. With 5:50 left, Columbus gets a power play. That was killed off, 2 shots on net. Columbus presses with 2 minutes left at 18:55 on a tic-tac-toe play. Rust buries one, Crosby and Letang with the assists. So Pittsburgh with their first lead of the game. They're up 2-1 after 2. Third period, Eller's denied and close. The review checked to see whether or not it went in. Nope, so it stays 2-1. We get a power play for the Penguins. That's killed off. And then at 8:59, Raquel buries one on a rush from the slot. Malkin with the assist there. Pittsburgh's got a 3-1 lead. Columbus doesn't give up. Marchenko roofs one to answer at 9:08. So that was 9 seconds later. Severson and Werenski with the assists. And then at 11:47, Werenski buries one from a sharp angle. Gaudreau with the helper. So that makes it a 3-3 tie. Columbus presses with 4.5 minutes left. The Penguins get some pressure with in the final minute, but we're going to overtime. In the overtime, Pittsburgh 5-10, Columbus 5-12. Those records are not great, but they're not really affected by this. At least that's what it said. It was the overtime record. I get the feeling that might be the extra time record, since neither of them showed us having a shootout loss if that was the case, and that just seems kind of odd. Anyways, Penguins control early. They turn it over. There's a near miss for Nylander. Gaudreau's denied on a net drive. We go to a shootout. Severson ends up getting the winner. I think that was in round 4. Columbus wins this one 4-3 in the shootout. They go to 24, 38, and 12 with the win. With the loss, Pittsburgh 32, 30, and 11. Shots on net 13-11 for Columbus in the first, 13-9 Columbus in the second, 12-10 Pittsburgh in the third, 2-1 Columbus in the overtime. Final shots 38-33 for the Blue Jackets. Power plays, Pittsburgh 0 for 2, Columbus 0 for 4. The hits 17-7 for Columbus. Nedeljkovic saves 35 out of 38. Merzlikins 30 saves on 33 shots. That being said, I need to change boards. All right, board number 2, and we're starting off with the Tony the Tiger magnet yet again. Carolina and Montreal. So Montreal's been playing spoiler. They didn't get the spoiler roll done tonight. So it's Kochetkov versus Montembeault. The Canes press at 3 minutes. The shots are 2-1 in their favor, 4.5 minutes in. Newhook has a rush chance that's defended. Kotkaniemi has a shot that's blocked. The Habs press at 7.5 minutes. The Habs are getting a lot of zone time. They were not getting enough shots to the net, however. The Canes blocking them out pretty well. Natchez then has a chance that's held. Shots are 7-3 for the Canes with 6.5 minutes left. Svechnikov has a net feed, near miss there. Canes press with 2 minutes left. It's 0-0 after 1. Second period. Slavkovsky has a one-timer. That's held. The shots are 2-1 Montreal. 4 minutes in, we get a power play for Carolina. That's killed off, and then Montreal gets a turn. The dislikes really upping itself on almost every whistle in this. And then shorthanded, Jordan Staal scores his first in a while. Teravainen with the assist at 9:33. And most importantly, Carolina finishes the kill. Caulfield has a net drive. That's defended. The Habs press, draw themselves a power play with 3:09 left. That's killed off. It's 1-0 Carolina after 2. Third period, early press by Montreal. Kotkaniemi has a net feed that's picked off. Canes end up drawing themselves a power play, and at 3:42 they score in it. It's Aho from Jarvis and Gensel. The Habs look to respond. The Canes press at 7 minutes. The Habs press at 9 minutes. Not a lot of shots on net, though. The shots are 4-3 Carolina with 9 minutes left. We get a power play for the Habs. That's killed off. Eventually, Montreal pulls the goalie down by 2, and at 17-12, Seth Jarvis hits the empty net. Gensel and Aho with the assists. So Aho with a goal and an assist. Gensel with 2 helpers. Carolina wins 3-0. They go to 47, 21, and 7. They keep pace with the Rangers, of course. The Montreal Canadiens 28, 33, and 12 with the loss. Shots on net, 8 apiece in the first. 14-11 Montreal in the second. 11-4 Carolina in the third. Final shots are 30-26 for the Canes. Power plays, Carolina 1 for 2. Montreal 0 for 3. The hits, 21-5 for Montreal. So basically Carolina's like, we don't need to hit. Let's not hit. They chose non-violence, and it worked. Kochetkov, 26 saves on 26 shots. Montembeault, 27 saves on 29 shots. So Montembeault had a good night, but Montreal just could not solve Kochetkov. As much as Suzuki wanted to, it just didn't happen. All right, next up, Philadelphia and Chicago. So I'm wearing Hawks. Honestly, I'm surprised. Like, for Philadelphia, they need these wins, and they're not getting them. So I've kind of switched my position on this. I don't think Philadelphia is going to be a challenge for a team in the first round. It just doesn't feel like it, and they just don't seem to be playing like they have that much interest in making the playoffs. Soderblom versus Ersson in this one. The Hawks press at 1.5 minutes, and at 2:01, Reichel scores to make it 1-0 Chicago. Tenorti and Athanasiou with the assists. The shots are 5-1 for the Hawks at 4 minutes. There's a power play for Philly. Does it suck? Yep. The power play is absolutely costing them games, too. Teams are not scared to take penalties against Philly because, it's not going to be a problem. There's a post for Lawton. Zamula's denied after. The Flyers press with 5 minutes left, but at 17 minutes, Reichel gets the second of the game. Bedard and Vlasic with the assists. We then had a fight between Donato and Lawton. Lawton trying to fire up his teammates. Doesn't work. 17 seconds into the second, it looks like it did. Forrester buries one on a rush. Hathaway with the assist. We get a post for Konechny on the next shift. So it's like, all right, Philadelphia's at home. This is Chicago. You've got to assert yourself against Chicago. Well, the shots are 4 apiece at 5 minutes. Philadelphia gets a power play. Does it suck? Yep. Bedard has a shot that's blocked as the Hawks press. The Flyers go back to the power play. Does it suck? Yep. And then Chicago gets a power play, and they score on theirs. Foligno from Kurashev and Tyler Johnson at 17:28. And then Bedard's denied in the closing seconds. So it's 3-1 for Chicago after 2. Third period, early press by the Flyers. There's more pressing by them at 2 minutes. They're not getting a lot on the net, though. Shots are 2-1 for Philadelphia at 3.5 minutes. The Hawks press at 7.5 minutes. And eventually, Joey Anderson adds one from Reichel. So Reichel had a big night. That's at 9 minutes and 9 seconds. We get a power play for Chicago. That becomes a 4-on-4. Then it becomes 23 seconds of a 4-on-3 for Chicago. Everything gets killed off. And then at 14:33, Entwistle scores from Anderson and Kaiser. So Joey Anderson with a goal and an assist tonight, making it 5-1. Flyers press with 2.5 minutes left, but they just couldn't get it done. And the Boo Birds were there to close it out. I cannot blame the fans. Your final score in this one's 5-1. Chicago goes to 22, 47, and 5. Don't look now; they're about to break the 50-point barrier. Philadelphia 36, 29, and 10. They just don't look like they're going to make it. They don't look like they want to. Shots on, I don't know how else to phrase it. Shots on net, 9-7 Chicago in the first, 13-9 Philadelphia in the second, 11-6 Philadelphia in the third. They do outshoot Chicago 31-24. Didn't feel like it. Power plays 1 for 3 Chicago, 0 for 3 Philadelphia. The hits 32-27 Chicago. For Soderblom, 30 saves on 31 shots. Ersson, 19 saves on 24 shots. So again, goaltender putting up a save percentage is just not gonna win you the game. All right, next up. The Islanders in Tampa. This was entertaining. This was very much an entertaining game. Varlamov versus Vasilevsky, and at 2:25, Palmieri puts one in. It deflects in off Dumba. Pulick and Riley with the assist there. So the Islanders get that early lead. However, the shots are 4-1 for Tampa at 3.5 minutes, and they did control a lot of that first period. These two games I had on my computer. The other games I was scrolling between on my television. So that's why there's a little more notes on this game. Shots are 4-1 Tampa at 3.5 minutes. Stamkos has a slot shot that's held. Duclair's denied on a net drive. Kucherov is denied on a rush. The shots are 11-4 for Tampa with 8 minutes left. We get a power play for Tampa. Points denied, but at 14:25, they just gave Tampa Bay too many chances. Radish scores from Kucherov and Cirelli. And then at 15 minutes, Cirelli buries one in close. Perbix and Hagel with the assist. So it's 2-0 Tampa. 2 goals in 35 seconds will do that. Bolts press with 3.5 minutes left, and honestly, it was all Tampa Bay in the last half of that period. So second period, the shots are actually 5-4 Islanders at 6 minutes. And the Islanders had a much better period than the first. Uh, there's a near miss by Lee and close. Then there's a post for Anthony Cirelli on a rush. The Islanders press with 7 minutes left. There's more pressure by them with 5 minutes left. This is where Vasilevsky earns his pay tonight. Stamkos fires one high. Hagel's denied. The fans then call one. The referee does not. So it stays 2-1 for Tampa Bay after 2. Third period, 21 seconds in, Stamkos gets a goal that puts him past Maurice Richard on the all-time list. Lilleberg and Hagel with the assist, so Hagel with a couple of helpers. They reviewed it to see whether or not it was a high stick. They decided, nope, the goal's good, so the goal stands. The Bolts then press for another. The shots are 2 apiece, 5 minutes in. Palmieri has a chance is kicked aside. Things get pushy on a hold by Vasilevsky. Nelson's denied. Vasilevsky holds on again. There's a near miss for Point on a rush. The goalie pull happens with 3 minutes and 40 seconds left. And at 17 minutes and 14 seconds, Cirelli gets the second goal of the game. Kucherov and Hedman with the assist. So Kucherov with a couple of helpers, as the race for the Art Ross is ridiculous right now. With 54 seconds left, the Islanders get a power play, but they're down 4-1. They don't generate much, and that's your final score. So with the 4-1 win, Tampa Bay goes to 41, 25, and 7. They do have 2 games with Toronto between now and the end of the season, so if they win both, we could see a third place finish for Tampa Bay. With the 4-1 loss, the Islanders dropped to 31, 27, and 15, and it really does pretty much squash out their hopes for a playoff spot. Shots on net, 21-6 for Tampa Bay in the first, 15-8 for the Islanders in the second, 11-8 Tampa in the third. Final shots, 40-28 for the Bolts. Power plays, the Islanders did not score on the only one they had. Tampa Bay scored on the only one they had, so clean game. Hits were 34-27 for the Islanders. Varlamov was very good, 36 saves on 39 shots. Vasilevsky, mildly better, 27 saves on 28 shots. All right, next up, the Sens and the Jets. So I know I did a video on the Canucks, and right away Jets fans are like, hey, we're the ones that should be concerned. And I thought, Jets will probably be okay. This game has me thinking maybe less okay. So it does look like the Jets are going to finish third in the division unless Nashville catches them. They're lucky Nashville's lost their last 2 games, because otherwise we would be talking about a potential wildcard spot for the Jets. But it's Korpisalo versus Hellebuck. Joseph has a chance it's held. We get a power play for the Sens. That's killed off. Jets get a power play. It becomes 9 seconds of 4-on-4. Everything's killed off there. The shots just were shocking to me. It was 5-4 for Ottawa with 5 minutes left. And it just felt like, there should be more sense of urgency in the Jets game than what we were seeing. 1:22 left. The Sens get a power play, so that rolls over into the second period. We do not have a score yet. Stützle's denied. Hellebuck holds early in the second. The Jets do finish the kill. There's a press by Winnipeg at 1.5 minutes, and at 1:58, Ehlers buries a rebound to put Winnipeg in the lead. Monahan and DeMello with the assists. The Sens press at 3 minutes, though, and Kachuk gets the second as a Senator from Brandstrom and Kastelik at 3:39. It stays that way until Ridley Gregg puts them ahead 2-1 at 13:25 from Kachuk and Batherson. And then the Sens look for another. And again, all I could think was, wait a minute, this is in Winnipeg. They know how much they need this game. What's happening here? Jets press with 4 minutes left, with 2:27 left. The Sens get a power play. That's killed off. But it's 2-1 Ottawa after the second period. Third period, Ehlers is denied on a turnover. There's a near miss for Cruikshank. Power play for the Jets. That's killed off. The Sens press at 5 minutes, but the shots are 5-2 Winnipeg at 7 minutes. Now they just can't solve Korpisalo. Pionk has a tip shot. That's held. We get a power play for the Jets. They do solve Korpisalo here. CHI-PHI scores from Connor and Morrissey at 9:48. Jets press with 8 minutes left. Niederreiter takes a puck to the face. Didn't look like that was much fun. 2:41 left. The Sens get their 5th power play, and they score on it. It's Kachuk from Stützle and Sanderson at 18:15. It's from the right circle. It deflects 5-hole. And yeah, so if you're a Jets fan, that had to be horrifying. 59.3 seconds left. The Jets get a power play. They call a timeout. Things are punchy on a hold by Korpisalo. Jets don't tie it. Sens win in regulation 3-2. They go to 33, 36, and 4. The fool's gold that is the end of a season for the Ottawa Senators is in full effect. I'm already hearing about how, the Sens look really good, and maybe this means they're on the right track. I am not falling for it again. The Jets, 44, 24, and 6 with the loss. Yeah, they're kind of in free fall. Yeah, it might be video worthy. Shots on net, 6-4 Ottawa in the first, 11-9 Winnipeg in the second, 15-12 Winnipeg in the third. Final shots, 30-27 for the Jets. Power plays, both teams go 1 for 5. Hits, 37-30 for the Jets. Korpisalo, 28 saves on 30 shots. Hellebuck saved 24 out of 27. And now I need to change boards. So this is where I remind people. I only have 4 of these Tony the Tiger magnets. I got them from eBay in this Kellogg set that they sold way back in the day. And the funny thing is, the other stickers, which is all the logos from it, I've never used in videos. But the Tony the Tigers have been great. I didn't mean that the way it came out. Anyways, forget I said it. Pixie dust. But I only have 4. So goalies stop getting so many shutouts in a night because I did run out. Almost didn't have enough. So we're going to talk about Boston and Washington first, which was not a Tony the Tiger game, although both goaltenders played well. Swayman versus Lindgren, early edge for the Caps. We get a power play for Boston. That's killed off. The shots are 5-3 Washington at 7.5 minutes. Bruins press with 9 minutes left. Caps press with 5.5 minutes left, I should say. Pastrnak, he has a rush chance that's held. The shots are 6 apiece with 4 minutes left. The Bruins then press, and at 18:47, Lindholm scores through a screen. Zacha and Pastrnak with the assists. Bruins look to add another. It's 1-0 Boston after 1. Second period, the Bruins have a 3-on-1 that's broken up, and then at 1:20 on a breakaway, Scarbosa scores from Jensen and Dowd. Caps press for the lead, but they turn the puck over, and at 2:22, Johnny Beecher buries one on a breakaway. Pretty wide open game at this point, which is not the game for either Boston or Washington. Both of these teams like to make sure hockey doesn't happen. There was an actual interview with the Capitals assistant coach where he's like, yeah, we just want low event hockey. Low event hockey is the new word for the trap. New terminology for the trap. And Boston plays it too. So wasn't the most exciting game. Anyways, McAvoy's denied as the Bruins press. There's a power play for the Capitals. That's killed off. The Caps go back to the power play. They score on this one to tie it. Carlson buries one from the side of the net. Pacioretty and Strome with the assists at 14:03, so it's 2-2. Bruins look to respond, but it stays 2-2 after 2. Third period. Coyle has a sharp angle shot that's saved. There's a press by the Bruins, but they're kept to the outside. 5 minutes in, the shots are 3-1 Boston. We get a power play for the Bruins. That's killed off. No shots. Bruins press afterwards. Lindgren holds there. The Caps press with 5.5 minutes left. Frederick to Heinen gets blocked. We're going to overtime. In the overtime, Dowd has a rush that's blocked. Zacha had a rush that's defended. There's a power play for the Capitals. It's a 4-minute power play. And the Bruins killed it off. I couldn't believe it either. You got a 4-minute power play. You got Ovechkin out there and you don't score in 4 minutes. It says a lot about both Swayman and the Bruins penalty killing. So we go to the shootout. It takes till round 4, and Kevin Shattenkirk gets the winner. So Boston gets the 3-2 shootout victory. They go to 43, 17, and 15. The Capitals dropped to 36, 27, and 10, but they gained that point on Philly, didn't they? There you go. They got a tiebreaker on basically everybody. So the shots on net, 9-6 Boston in the first, 8-5 Boston in the second, 9-5 Boston in the third, 4-3 Washington in the overtime. Final shots 29-20 for Boston. Power plays, Boston 0-2, Washington 1-4. Hits were 41-37 for Washington. Swayman saves 18 out of 20. Lindgren saved 27 out of 29. If these teams meet in the first round of the playoffs, I don't know how I'm going to review those games. Because, again, I would think in the playoffs, it'll be low event hockey for both teams. We might see triple, quadruple, 5 overtime, 6, 7. We might be talking about like a century ago kind of hockey when games could go for a really, really, really long time. But at any rate, see what happens. All right, next up, the San Jose Sharks and the St. Louis Blues. This is the most surprising game of the night for me because from all indications, St. Louis looked really good, and they just didn't get the goals. So it's Blackwood versus Hofer. The shots are 1 apiece at 2.5 minutes. Blackwood's the reason this thing stays tied through the first period. With 9 minutes left, the shots are 10-2 for the Blues, and then the Sharks just kind of stopped allowing shots. The Blues also weren't allowing any shots. Each team had 1 shot after that. There's no score after 1. Second period, early press by the Blues. Sturm has a 2-on-1 chance that's held. There's a post for Zadina as the San Jose Sharks press. The shots are 4-0 San Jose at 6.5 minutes. At 8.5 minutes, Zadina scores top corner, short side. We get a power play for the Sharks. That's killed off. But then at 12:05, Granlund scores from Zetterlund and Eklund. It's a lot of Lunds. So the Sharks go back to the power play. That's killed off as well. And then at 17:58, Luke Cunnin scores. It's 3-0 for San Jose in St. Louis after 2, a St. Louis team that's in the hunt for a playoff spot. So third period, the shots are 10-2 for St. Louis 6 minutes in. The frustrating part had to be that, yeah, they're getting all kinds of chances, just can't solve Blackwood. Butchnevich has a tip shot that's saved. Falk had a shot that was blocked. Sharks get pinned down. Krug gets a shot that's held. There's more pressure by the Blues at 9.5 minutes. Krug hits a post. They were able to hit posts tonight. They just couldn't hit the net. Buchnevich has a rush chance that's saved. We get a power play for the Blues. That leads to a shorthanded rush by Eklund. That's saved. They killed that off. Goalie pull happens with 3:52 left, and at 16:47, Ruda gets the empty netter from Sturm, and all I put underneath that was, what just happened? Most important game of the year, you could argue, for St. Louis. There should be no trap games when you're below the playoff line. San Jose wins 4-0 in St. Louis. They go to 17-48-6 with the win. They have the 20th Tiger Magnet. St. Louis 39-31-4. And with this loss in regulation, the Canucks have clinched a playoff spot. So I'm going to the game tomorrow. I guess what's on the line is, it's the Ducks, so they should win that, right? They should restore their 6-point lead over the Edmonton Oilers. If they don't, we might be talking about the Canucks again soon. So the shots on net, 11-3 St. Louis in the first, 12-3 San Jose in the second, 21-5 St. Louis in the third. Final shots are 35-20 for the Blues. Power play, San Jose 0-3, St. Louis 0-2. The hits, 26-16 St. Louis. Or San Jose, I should say. Blackwood saved all 35 shots he faced. Hofer, 16 saves on 19 shots. But again, I don't know what just happened there. Between Philadelphia and St. Louis, I don't know which one's more baffling. I think St. Louis. Yeah, St. Louis. All right, LA and the Calgary Flames. If you want to beat the Kings, you have to score first, right? If you want to beat the Kings, same with the Capitals, the style of hockey they play, same with the Bruins. You need to score first, because otherwise they'll just turn the game into sludge. So, Riddick versus Markstrom in this one. Weegar has a one-timer that's caught and held. The shots are one apiece at 3 minutes. Dubois to Byfield gets picked off. There's a power play for Calgary, and they score on it. It's Nazem Kadri from Kuzmenko and Sharangovich at 4:45, but then the Kings get a power play. They score on theirs as well. Kempe from Doughty and Fiala at 5:42. Now the Flames go back to the power play. That leads to a shorthanded rush by Moore. He fires wide there. That power play is killed off. At 11:56, Pospisil scores from Kuzmenko and Kadri. However, Pospisil would take a penalty with 2 minutes and 12 seconds left to put the Kings on the power play. The good news for him, not only is it killed off, the Kings didn't even get a shot. So it's 2-1 for Calgary after one. Second period, early press by the Kings. Not that they're getting shots. We get a power play for Calgary. There's a near miss for Sharangovich. Power play's killed off. 3 shots on net for the Flames there. Kings then draw a power play. That's killed off as well. Flames press after it's done. Kadri has a shot that's blocked. It's cleared. Flames go back to the power play and they score on it. It is Coleman from Anderson and Miramanov at 11:57. He buries a rebound and close there. Coleman, I think that's 29 for him. I think he's right on the verge of 30. Shots are 9-1 for Calgary with 6 minutes left. The Kings press with 4.5 minutes left. With 2:50 left, they end up getting themselves a power play, and they score on it. It is Anze Kopitar making it 3-2. Kempe and Fiala with the assists at 18:23. And it was a wrist shot that he scored while Anderson was badly hobbled. Like he took a shot. He had blocked a shot. He was in a lot of pain. He couldn't even stand up. So it became 5-on-3 at that point, right? So yeah, 3-2 after 2. Third period, the Flames had the lone shot on net 3.5 minutes in. Kopitar's denied. Markstrom holds. The shots are 5-1 for Calgary, 7.5 minutes in. Dubois to Laferriere. That gets picked off. There's a power play for Calgary, and they score on it. Mackenzie Weegar with his 18th. Huberdeau and Sharangovich with the assists at 11:30, and it was a face-off win. It's cycled. It's buried. Kings press with 5 minutes left. Roy's denied on a rush. Goalie pull and the timeout happened at the same time with 1:52 left. But with 53.2 seconds left, you got to put the goalie back in because the Flames get a power play and they run out the clock. 4-2 win for them. They go to 34-5 with the win. With the loss, the Kings 38-24-11. And with the Vegas Golden Knights winning today, they're now 3 points back of that third place spot currently held by the Vegas Golden Knights. Shots on net 16-4 Calgary in the first, 9-5 Calgary in the second, 10-9 Calgary in the third. Final shots 35-28 for the Flames. Power plays LA 2 for 4, so they did not score 5-on-5. The Kings 3 for 6. The hits were 28-21 for the Kings. Riddick saves 31 out of 35. Markstrom saved 16 out of 18. All right, last game of the night. Here we are. Dallas and Seattle. Dallas, finally. Finally, Dallas is playing the way I know Dallas can. It's exciting. We're a few weeks from the playoffs. It's an exciting time. So Ottinger versus Decord, good early back and forth. The lone shot on net was for Seattle at 3 minutes. Ben's denied as the Stars press. The shots are 4-1 Dallas at 8 minutes. So they're not giving Seattle very much. The Stars press with 6 minutes left. Johnston's denied on a turnover. Marchment can't bury one in close. Dallas was all over Seattle. So if there was any thought of, hey, those back-to-back wins over Anaheim, would they help Seattle and give them some confidence? If it gave them confidence, Dallas took it away from them pretty early in that game. Second period, Stars press early. Bjorkstrand blocks a Robertson's certain goal for Robertson there. Kraken press at 2.5 minutes. Ben has a net drive that's blocked. Heiskanen has a shot that's caught and held. Gord has a net drive that's blocked as well. The shots are 6-3 Seattle, 7.5 minutes in. Morrison has a rush that's blocker to side, and then Winterton fires one wide on a rush. So both of those rookies for Seattle had opportunities tonight. Power play for Seattle, there's a shorthanded rush by Hintz. That's denied. Power play's killed off, but Dallas would get on the clock, or on the board, I should say. At 18:12, that's on the clock. Johnston scores from Lundqvist and Stankoven. So Stankoven with an assist. It's 1-0 Dallas after 2. Third period. Chris Tanev got shaken up along the boards. It looked like his shoulder, so I hope it's not his shoulder, because Tanev's really started to fit in on that Dallas blue line. The problem I had with it was he's like, Tanev's hurt. I'm like, okay, Brandon's on the other team. Which Tanev? Oh, it's Chris. Oh, no. So it was a 5-minute for Larson for boarding. They review it, and they gave him 5 minutes and threw him out of the game for an elbow. So 8 seconds into the major, Pavelski scores from Hintz and Heiskanen. That's only 26 seconds into the period. So a lot has happened. We're not even 30 seconds in. Robertson's denied. It's cleared. There's a sprawling save and a hold on a Rope Hintz chant. The Kraken kill the major's final 4 minutes and 52 seconds. They don't generate anything really out of it, though. So Tolvanen has a tip to save. The shots are 7-6 for Dallas with 8 minutes left. The fans call when the referee doesn't. Fans called a bunch. In fact, they were telling the ref that he sucks for that 5-minute major, which is weird because he reviewed it. So he and the NHL decided, yeah, it's 5 minutes. Power play for Seattle, that's killed off. The goalie pull happens with 3 minutes left, and at 18:43, Rope Hintz scores from Johnston and Lundell. So Johnston has a chance to be the youngest player to ever score 30 goals for the Dallas Stars. I do hope it happens, and it's nice to see Rope Hintz getting goals again. Dallas wins 3-0. They go to 47-19-9 on the season. The Kraken 30-30-13. So there's some symmetry to the record. Shots on net, 11-3 Dallas in the first, 9-8 Dallas in the second, 10-7 Dallas in the third. They outshoot Seattle 30-18. Power plays, 1 for 2 for Dallas, 0 for 2 for San Jose. The hits, 23-14 for the Sharks. Ottinger saves all 18 shots for the shutout, one of the easier shutouts he's had this year. DeCord saved 27 out of 29. He was very good, just didn't get the goal support. At any rate, there you go. You're all caught up. Let me know your thoughts on these games in the comment section below, as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe in the event you've not done so already. Thank you guys so much for watching. There will not be another 15-game day until at least October. So there you go. Thank you guys for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.